Hey, you. Thanks for tapping into another episode of Untapped Keg. I'm RJ Zimmerman, and today is a solo episode. I haven't done one of these in a really long time. It's probably been over a year. Maybe it has been a year. I don't even remember when the last time was. So it's great to have you here. Little bit of background in case this is your first episode. Wonderful jumping in point. I have not drank in over 11 years. But about 4 years ago, my then wife came to me and asked for a divorce, and that really changed the trajectory of my life and really sets up the topic that I want to talk about today. And that's resilience. I've been talking a lot about it, but with it comes the fact that things are going to happen in life that you don't see coming. It's the things that you see coming that you can prepare for, but is that really resilience? If you're sitting there ready for what comes straightforward, is that really resilience? And you know what? It's probably not. And I keep getting, every time I say the word resilience, the picture that comes to my mind is Captain America, right? And it's him bloodied, barely able to stand, him standing up and saying, I can do this all day. That picture, though, I think does an injustice to just what the power of resilience can be. Because if you're focused on resilience being that you have to take the punches to continue to power through, you're really setting yourself up for exhaustion, setting yourself up for failure. And the thing with resilience is if you don't have something that happens, you can't be resilient. If you don't have challenges, if you don't have something that comes in, that is not resilience. Building your life around never being challenged, that's not resilience. You can't be resilient until there's that punch, that swing, that challenge that comes in that knocks you off course. And it's not the fact that that happens and knocks you off course. That doesn't mean you're not being resilient. It's about how long you stay off course before you decide that I need to get back in where I was. That's resilience. 4 years ago, my then wife comes to me and asks for a divorce, and I have one of two things that I can do. I can continue down the path that I was on, or I could figure out ways that I could change, ways that I could show up for myself in a different way, ways to be able to use this to find my own power and take it back. That doesn't mean it didn't impact me. It did. It did in a massive way. It still impacts me to this day. You know, 2 years later, divorce is finally finalized, probably 2.5 years later. And it hurt. It still hurts. I did not get married thinking that I would be divorced. I didn't have kids, two kids, thinking that I would only see them half the time. I'm not the type of dad that enjoys being away from my kids. I don't know if any dad really honestly enjoys being away from their kids, but it's hard to deal with, right? And so, am I going to let that derail me or am I going to find a way to work through it? The truth is, you don't know how resilient you are until you get hit multiple times and you get knocked off course and you realize that you keep going. You have done the work to get to where you are. You have lived up to those challenges wherever you are in your life right now to get to a place where you've weathered that storm. You have taken 100% of the hits that have come in your life and you've bounced back from them. You had to have, or else you wouldn't be listening to this. You wouldn't be here. And this is where I like to combine that resilience with the power of yet. And what I mean by that is I'm from Wisconsin. I'm from Wisconsin. And we end a lot of our sentences with yet. Even if the sentence doesn't need to have a yet in there, we're going to throw a yet in there. Did you leave yet? Are you ready yet? Are you there yet? Should we leave yet? There's so many things that we do with yet. But if you take that word and you put it at the end of sentences, especially when you're facing a challenge, I haven't stopped drinking yet. I haven't gone to therapy yet. I haven't contacted this person to have a conversation with them yet. There's a lot of power in that word. There's a lot of power. And it doesn't mean that you have to do anything about it tomorrow, but it just lets yourself know that you do have that intention to do something about it. And even if it's, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Again, there's that word. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something. I did not even mean to put that in there. It's just that's how ingrained it is. That Midwestern yet. And there's so much power there. Like, just look at it. Like, for me, I want to be a full-time coach. I'm not there yet. I want to create courses that give people the ability to be able to handle anything that life throws at you. I'm just not there yet, right? I haven't done it yet. Not fully. When you're going through that challenge, when you're going through that tough time, like something that you would benefit from is not putting your nose to the grindstone and just pushing through, right? It's not standing there ready to take that punch. It's not getting up and saying, "Hey, I'm coming after you," right? It's understanding that power of yet, and that yet doesn't mean right now. It's taking a step back, being mindful. What could my next step be? What would I benefit from in this next step? That is where that picture of Captain America differs from what would really benefit you. It's not just getting up and going full go. It's getting up with the intention of looking around and seeing and where could I improve. And for me, right, that came with understanding my feelings and emotions from a place where I had zero. I had zero vocabulary. I had zero understanding. I just knew like anger and that was it. I knew something wasn't right. It was just this void, this blackness inside of me. This like it would just there was nothing because there was so much going on and I didn't even know it at the time. I got diagnosed with ADHD. I went to therapy. I started this podcast with my brother-in-law at the time and then took it over solo and I've continued it. I've talked with people to get an understanding. All of this has been to develop an understanding of myself that is so much deeper that when I have something that comes up, I can have that understanding or that conversation within myself to develop that understanding of what's going on right now. Am I reeling because this relationship that ended was so impactful on me? Am I reeling from this situation happened when I was younger and it's just replaying in a different way because I'm showing up in a way that's causing it to replay? Like that's real. That's something that I understand about myself. Does that mean that there's something wrong with my childhood? No. Does it mean there's something wrong with my parents? No. What it means is there's still things that show up and impact the way that I show up now, whether I want to or not. It's changed the way that I parent. It's changed the way that I show up with friends, family members, everybody, coworkers. But mainly it's changed how I show up with myself. And that's something that I did not predict. Something that I didn't understand or realize was that how that change that you show up with yourself can be so drastic, life altering, that it was possible. I'm one of those people, you can tell me things all day, but until I experience it, I don't know what's possible. So all of this, right? All of this building of resilience, this taking a look, this understanding that challenges are going to happen, life is going to happen, it's going to throw shit at you, and you can build tools and skills in a way that it doesn't matter if your relationship ends or it doesn't. You're going to be okay no matter what. You'll be impacted, But no matter what, you're going to get through it and you're going to be okay. And you're going to be proud of the way that you showed up. Because it's not all about, you cannot control how other people show up. You can't control their willingness, their wants, their what they're looking for. You can show up absolutely perfect. And that doesn't mean that the other person is going to want to stay in your life. That's from a relationship point of view. Let's talk about, you know, you could show up perfect, and that doesn't mean that your company is going to stay in business. You can show up perfect. It doesn't mean that you're going to find clients. Going back to coaching and being full time, you're going to find people who understand what you bring and want to come out and work with you. They may not even know. You might not be in front of them. You might not, you might not be great at marketing, right? You might not be great at telling people about what you do and the things that you do. By the way, I have two courses, a self-discovery course and an emotions and feelings course, and both of them start from a place of you have no idea what you're looking for, but you just understand yourself. It builds up your resilience. It builds up what you can do to make it so that, let's say you are going through challenges and hardships with your relationship. Build those tools so that whether it works or it doesn't, you're proud of the way you showed up. You understand that you can get through it, and you understand that you get to create something deeper with yourself on the other side, with life, with the people who stay in your life. With just, I get to wake up and I get to do what I want, right? Maybe I go to work at a job that I don't love. After that, I get to choose what I do, whether I come home and cook dinner, or I go out with my friends, or I just go to a coffee shop and read, have a pot of tea, get to go for a walk on the beach, go see the sunrise in the morning on the beach or the mountains or wherever you are. There are things that you can do, intentions that you can make, ways that you can show up that show yourself what life is really all about, what you want to get from life. And so, you know, there's the resilience piece is taking a step back and looking, okay, what is my intention? What do I want? What sometimes it's just looking, what the fuck just happened? Is this real? Did my friend really do that to me? Had they even been my friend? Have I overlooked things that they've done that I know have been red flags, but I didn't do anything about it because I was like, they didn't mean it. There was something that I did. They'll show up. They'll see what is going on. They'll see how it's impacting. You know, all of these moments, they don't mean to blame me for what's going on. They'll see how they're showing up and not showing up 50%, right? Like, what just happened? Like, my wife is coming to me with a divorce. Like, what the fuck? I've worked my ass off. I show up every single day, help start a business, right? I pay the bills. What the fuck do you mean you want a divorce? What else do you want from me? Right? But taking a look, what happened? Oh, you checked out. Oh, you overlooked those things and didn't stand up for yourself. Oh, there's times where people have disrespected you and you haven't just allowed it, but you've welcomed it. Like that's the way that it's supposed to be. Okay. All right. Like, does that excuse what's happened? No. No, it doesn't. It absolutely does not. But what it does is it gives you the ownership to take accountability to, oh, I can change this. Somebody disrespects me, say, hey, I understand you didn't mean to be disrespectful, but it felt very disrespectful what you did. It's a boundary. And it's not that you're telling somebody else what to do, it's that you're showing yourself, hey, I don't appreciate the way that you just said that or how you treated me. So I'm just going to remove myself from the situation for a little bit. When I feel stronger, when I feel like there's something there, all right, I'll come back. I'll do something. Like we'll hang out. Doesn't mean it's the end. Just means things have got to be different, right? Oh, You can't talk to me like I'm five, like I'm 13. I'm 38. I'm a dad. How about we talk about like peers? How about we talk like you have respect for me and you understand that I can not just make my own decisions, but I can take all the information in and understand what's going on in my own life, right? It's another boundary. Like you're going to respect my intelligence and what I'm seeing. You're going to respect the reality that I see. And I'll respect the reality that you see. And if we don't agree, that's all right. That doesn't mean that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Just means that we have different opinions about the information that's coming in, right? Well, there's so many different ways that you can set yourself up and the tools that you can have in that mindfulness, like the journaling. I never thought I'd be a journaler, and I'm a big proponent of journaling, but I want you to understand something. And this is massive. This is something huge. A lot of people overlook this, but it's true. Journaling doesn't just mean writing down. Dear journal, today I talked to Johnny and Johnny wasn't very nice to me. I don't know if Johnny and I are friends, right? That's not necessarily journaling. I mean, it is like that's a form of journaling, but that's not the only way to journal. You can just take what's on your mind and write it down. And sometimes they come out as short stories or poems or things like that. That's what happened to me. Like, where the fuck are these poems coming from? What? Like poetic short stories. I don't know who does that. I'm a lineman. I play with electricity. Do you mean I'm writing poems? Like poetic short stories? No. That's what I did, right? Or like this. Like that's what the podcast started out for me as a form of journaling. Even like interviews that I do with people, I'll be able to get my thoughts out of my head and spoken, and we talk about it and have conversations. It could be conversations with friends. It could be just you talking to yourself in the car. You don't have to record in order to journal, right? Another thing is take that phone out, look at yourself, tell you, just talk to yourself. You don't have to watch them again. That's a form of journaling. Or just talking into a voice memo, typing something out. Just get it out of your head and into something somewhere else, whether it's spoken, whether it's written, whether it's, just acted out, like with the walking with intention or things like that. Do something to get it from your mind to somewhere else. And that is such a help. It's such a gift to be able to understand what's going on in your mind. You may have thought that it was anger at how somebody was treating you. In reality, it's the fact that you're not giving yourself permission to do the same thing. You may have thought that it was the fact that you're not good enough, when in reality, the fact that you're not even trying. That's what journaling can help with. Just taking a few moments, whether it's in the morning, at night, in the middle of the day, could be driving and you have to pull into a parking lot and just write something out real quick. It could be driving and you just start talking to yourself. And then, with journaling and that mindfulness, it's trying new hobbies. It's trying something different. What I did before may have helped to create these challenges that are here. Or maybe it helps you that when those challenges come, you don't get knocked off the path for months at a time, years at a time, but a couple weeks and you're like, wait, I lost sight of doing this. Could be going for walks, could be cooking food, could be different sleep schedule, working out, stretching. There's different things that it could be that are keeping you from showing up how you want to show up. That's part of this resilience and those skills that you can develop. Some of it is honestly like finding a coach that can provide that outside perspective that you don't even know would help to change your mind on what you need to do. Like that's what the best sports coaches do is they look at the different perspectives that the players can't see and they point them out and they're like, "Hey, if you do this, trust me, something is going to work. But you got to do it." That's what a coach can do for you. Hey, I see that you keep doing this and it is getting in your way. If you try to do this, I think that something different will happen for you, but you got to do it. I can't be the one to go out there and do it for you. And that could build it so that no matter what happens, it's not the fact that bad things aren't going to happen. Life is going to be fucking life, and humans are going to be human. People are going to hurt you. Sometimes it's on purpose, and sometimes it's not. It's not about if, it's about how you show up when it happens, how you show up for yourself. As a dad, yeah, guess what? I have to show up for myself, not just for my kids. Because if I don't show up for myself and I only show up for my kids, how are they going to know who I am? How are they going to build a relationship with me? How am I going to have energy to show up for them? It is not just okay, but you have to show up for yourself. That's what resilience really is. Show up for yourself so you can show up for others. Show up for yourself so that you can look back with no regrets. If you're interested in what coaching could be, go to untappedkeg.com and sign up for a free group coaching call. It happens the first and third Monday of every single month. It's a free group coaching call. Just got to give your email and that's it. And you can join, talk about whatever you want, right? Whatever's going on in your life, there's usually a topic that we'll learn a little bit about. Honestly, resilience was the last topic of that meeting. I've talked about it though for a long time and it's still on my mind. But you'll learn a little bit and then there's coaching afterwards and you'll learn from other people who bring something. Also, you can bring something and just, you don't even have to be on camera. You don't have to talk, but if you want to, you can. We can just talk about what's going on. The best part is there's no judgment. No matter what it is that's going on, you're not going to be judged for it. Because no matter how hard you are on yourself or how crappy of a person you think that you are, you're not. And that's not what is going to be seen. So go to untapkedkeg.com, look up the free group coaching call, sign up, and I look forward to seeing you on another call. Go to any social media, Untapped Keg. You can DM me if you have any questions. Leave a comment on this podcast and have a great week, everybody.